So fine. So everyone download and install SQL Server. If anybody not done, please do it. Okay. So if anybody don't know, so go to my blog and you can find installation part, right? So once again, I am sharing that link with you guys. So you just go through that link and please complete SQL Server installation. So after that, you have to download and install Adventure databases. Then only you have to do the practice. Otherwise, it's not possible, right? So okay, then after that, everything will complete and you don't learn anything. So please complete everyone. Okay. So step by step, you can process. So 1 second, I'm sharing. So what is SQL Server? Anyone? Any idea? What is SQL Server? What is the benefit of SQL Server? Anyone can share. Yes. Somebody is telling.
SQL is a structured query language.
Okay.
With this SQL, we can access the database, we can retrieve the data, we can modify the data.
Okay. So apart from that, anything you can add the points. So whatever you told, correct points only. May I know who is talking?
Prasanna.
Yeah, nice. So whatever you put the points, that is correct and valid. And so why Rajni is not joined? Sorry. So ask them to start once again. Once again, one more person is there. I did not add her. So give me 1 minute, please. Okay, fine. Already added. Already I'm calling. Okay, fine. So Anant, any answers? What is SQL Server? What we can say with your experience?
Yes, Delhi. SQL is a structured query language.
Okay.
It is a storage location. We can create our databases with that SQL for our application. Suppose we are using web application or Windows application, our data, we can store it into SQL Server database. Different types of databases are there, like Oracle, MySQL, SQL. SQL is a Microsoft product, MS SQL.
Yes, perfect.
In that SQL, we can create our tables, views, store procedures, functions based on our requirements.
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
We can store the data into table and we can retrieve data using queries, store procedure like that.
Yes, perfect. You cleared everything. Okay. So SQL Server is a pure RDBMS product. Okay. SQL Server is a pure RDBMS product. We'll discuss what is RDBMS. Okay. So who is developed this one? Developed by Microsoft people. Right. Correct. So as you said, it is developed by Microsoft when 1989. Okay. And also it is known as backend tool. So wherever you go, so in IT industry, you can listen either backend, either front end. So what is Power BI? Power BI is a front end tool. Okay. So backend, what we are using? SQL Server or Oracle Server or Sea-based server are many. So, but most of the scenarios we are going to for the SQL Server only, because see now these people, Microsoft people, again they released Azure SQL, right? Azure SQL Server, that is also come SQL only. Here, see SQL Server is nothing but it is a on-premises. What is on-premises? It's not cloud, right? So within the organization limits, it will be there, right? Server, right? SQL Server, Oracle Server, any server, it will be, we can access within the organizational level. But cloud also, cloud is different. So it is running in the cloud platforms. But here also same, we have to use the same credentials. So if you have the SQL Server credentials, same you can access within the organization and cloud also. So you same logins you can use for SQL Server and Azure SQL Server. Same analysis services also. Just now same concept they are moving to the cloud. That's it. Nothing is there. Okay. And one more thing I want to clarify you. So SQL Server is a backend tool, right? So backend in the sense we are connecting to the data source, right? So what is backend application? So many people are telling I am working on backend, front end like that, right? So what is backend as of your knowledge? Anyone?
Backend is data storage location. We can store our application data. Application UI part and all front end, we can call it.
Yes, yes.
Design.
100%.
Page designing and development, coding, those things and all front end. Database things and all back end.
Yes, yes, correct, correct. So in other words, what we can tell is front end is nothing but user interacting with directly to the application, right? So front end we can tell yeah, Power BI. So tools are all those tools we can tell front end. So we are working on visualization part, right? Front end tools, these are comes. Yes, basically here user directly interact with this application. For example, Gmail also one front end only. Facebook also front end only. Twitter also front end only. We are interacting, right? That is front end applications. And backend, so backend is nothing but user cannot interact. For example, database, as you said, database. For example, take login pages. If you log in, so that will connect to the server and load the data and all, right? So login pages also we can say, but directly we are not interacting with the data, right? That is also any registration forms. Those also comes under backend applications only. Examples, if you want to ask me, those things we can tell the examples. And one more thing, SQL Server, whenever they released in earlier days, it's a platform dependent or independent? Anyone, any idea?
Platform dependent.
Dependent. When? Till when?
Till 2012, 2002.
I think till 2012.
Two.
I think when 1989. I think 2016, I think, right? No, it's not right. Any idea, Anand?
Don't know exactly that.
2016 only.
Okay.
Okay. So it's a platform dependent, OS also dependent. So platform, so only Windows operating system, right? What is in only Windows operating system it is going to work. After that, after 2017, I think it becomes as platform independent. It is going to run in another OSs also, right? So Linux or something different OSs also is there. In the different OSs also it is going to work. Okay, any OS and any processor also. Okay, so processors, you know, right? Intel and any Intel is one processor. After that, I'm not getting anything in process. Okay, So I think from 2006 till 2016 it will be platform dependent only. Now it is platform independent SQL Server. Okay. So basically, what is SQL Server? Yeah, that is correct question answer. So if anybody asks you something about the SQL Server, you have to tell, like as Anand said, it is a structured query language. What is a structure? So here we have a structure. We have a structure. In the structure, we are going to load the data. So we have a structure. What is a structure? Rows and columns, or we can say columns and rows, right? So this is a table, right? This is columns, this is rows. So here we are going to store the data in one structure. What is the structure? That structure rows and columns. The rows and the columns we are going to maintain the data. That is called, that's the reason why it is called as a structured query language. That query also very similar to our English language only, if you observe. Okay, so anyone can easily understood that SQL queries. Fine. So unstructured in the sense there is no structure. Okay, so now if it is come to types of DBMS, we have two types of mainly two types of DBMS are there. What is the first DBMS? Relational database. What is the first one? Relational database. In relational database, the data DBMS database. In relational database management system, the data will be stored in the columns and rows. Exactly, we can say. Not only in tables. See, view also contain rows and columns, right? View. There are in database there are few objects are there. Tables will be there, views will be there, store procedures will be there, functions will be there, triggers and will be there. Are many things are there. So it is a pure RDBMS product, right? So in tables also, table it will be in rows and columns only. In views also rows and columns only, right? Wherever you go. So we are talking about only rows and columns only. Data is nothing but here in the SQL Server and wherever you go. So it will be structure format only. What is the structure format? Rows and columns, columns and rows, anything you can say. So relational database is nothing but first point you have to tell it, you have to understand. So it will be rows and columns or columns and rows we can say, and it will be contain the relationship with the tables. For example, employee table is the department table is one table to another table. It contains a related columns. It contains the relationship between the tables. Okay, so relational in the name itself, it is the relational. We have the relationship in this database management system. Okay, so and anything is there? That's it, right? Any points, anything missing? Okay. So relational database management system, I will tell you the few example. SQL Server is pure RDBMS product, and Oracle Server, Sea-based server, and there are many servers are there. So whatever the servers, we have the structure and relationship, then it is called relational database system. And the second one is the non-relational database system. In a non-relational database, what is the second one? Non-relational database system. In non-relational database system, the data is not organized in the form of rows and columns. Rows and columns is nothing but tables, right? Okay. So basically, so that concept, that thing you have to keep in your mind. Rows, columns, and rows and columns, anything. Okay. So if your data is not in the organized in the form of rows and columns, so the data maybe will be in the value pair like that, and there is no proper structure. So very simple. In non-relational, there is no proper structure. They are not going to store data in the proper structure like columns and rows and all. Okay. So in relational, we have the structure, that is rows and columns. Here we don't have the structure. We can store in value pair or any different. For example, take XML. I showed you, right? XML. What is XML? Go data. So Northwind, see this. Northwind data. In Northwind data, so these are the tables. There is no structure. We can't understand the data. So what kind of columns are there? What kind of rows are there? Right? So how you are going to understand the data? So what is the relationship between the tables? So we can't understand the data. So there is no proper structure. So maybe XML files you can tell, and JSON file you can tell, JSON format. There is no proper structure, right? So they are not going to maintain in one structure in relational. And we can tell any databases names. You can tell MongoDB. MongoDB is not a structured database. It's a non-structured, non-relational. It comes under non-relational database. We don't have any relationships. We cannot expect the relationships. Okay. And now we are going to discuss about what is SQL, right? Okay. SQL is a standard language storing and manipulating and retrieving data from the databases. Is absolutely correct point. Our SQL tutorial will teach you in SQL, MySQL Server, MS Access, Oracle, Informatica, Postgre, and other database systems. Okay, fine. So introduction, what is one? Yeah. Now see, SQL stands for uh, structured query language. SQL stands for structured query language. The first point. That means we have a structure. We are going to store the data into the rows and columns. And SQL lets you access and manipulate databases. SQL, by using SQL, we can access the database and we can manipulate the database. Manipulate means changing. So if you want to add any table, inserting any inserting is there, insert, update, delete, and there are many things we can do. Okay. And SQL becomes a standard on American National Standards ANSI 1986 in the International Organization for the standard ISO 1987. Okay, so what we can do? What can do SQL? SQL can execute queries against database. SQL and retrieve. So we can execute, retrieve, insert, update, delete, create, and tables, store procedures and views, and SQL permits on the tables, procedures, and views. Okay, so the main things we can see here. So in SQL Server, so we have to learn what is what we can see. SQL can execute queries against a database. SQL can retrieve data from the database, and SQL can insert the records from the database. SQL can update records from the database, and SQL can delete record from the database. SQL can create new databases. SQL can create new tables in database. SQL can store procedures in database. SQL can create views in the database. So very important thing. So when you are working as a front-end developer, you should know what is tables and what is views. Very important. Okay. So what is table? What is view? Definitely they are going to expect what is view. Definitely they are going to expect what kind of information is there in the view, what we can do. So okay. So as a SQL developer, that will be the different scenario. So but okay, so whatever we know, each and everything we are going to discuss, don't worry. Okay, but as of now, what happens? So you have to understand what is SQL Server. Okay, so structure query language. Here we are going to maintain the data in the structured format. Okay, and so today we are going to discuss about the first thing, syntax is there. Okay, tables. Okay, come down. So there are some of most important commands. Okay, select, update, delete, insert, create database, alter database, create database, alter table, drop table, create index and drop index. These are the most important keywords. Okay, we are going to use in the SQL. The first thing we are going to discuss about the select. Select statement extract data from a database. So for example, you have one database in the SQL Server. In this database, you want to take data from the you want to extract, you want to execute in the SQL Server. Okay, so how we can able to from SQL Server, if we want to take from SQL Server to Power BI stuff anywhere, we can load the data. Okay, by using the SQL queries. Okay, the first thing SQL, what is a select statement? The select statement extract data from the database. If you want to select the data, we are going to use the select statement, and we have two different things. Mostly we are using select only. So in very rare course, we are going to use the select distinct. So what is the difference? Select and select distinct. We'll take a look. Select SQL statement. So the select statement is used to select data from the database. The data returned stored in the result table called the result set. Whatever we can able to see, that is called as a result set. Okay. So here selection, it will be in two different ways. Either we can select whatever you want, whatever you require the columns from the database, that we can able to select. Or if you want to select everything, whatever in this table you want to get it from there, so you can select two things. Okay, so whatever the columns you want to select, that you can able to select, and whatever you want to so whatever the columns and rows, everything, then you put the star. We have to mention select keyword. So by using the select keyword, so here we are selecting only these columns. Okay, so I want to select column 1 and column 2 from the table. Okay, from this table. So if you put the star, it is going to take everything. So all columns and all rows it is going to display. Okay, so they given here some demo. Below is a selection from the customers table in the Northwind database. Come down. So here the following SQL statements select the customer name and city columns from the customers table. From customers table there are many columns, but they want to take only customer name and city. Okay, so if you download and install the SQL Server, you can able to practice. See these columns are not mandatory. These columns, it's not mandatory. Okay, and the very important point, so it is not a case sensitive. Either you can type in small letters, either you can type in capital letters. It doesn't matter. It's not a case sensitive. You know, right, this point? If you don't know, remember this point. Okay, fine. So now we'll take a look how to take data from the database. Okay, first of all, SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. I told you in previous class also. I'm just remembering you once. So whenever the company purchase SQL Server, SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. So the other services, SQL servers, whenever you purchase SQL Server, the other services, SQL Server, other services of SQL Server, that is called as SSAS, SQL Server Analysis Services. It is a live connection. It comes under live connection, and import also is there. Okay, that is also fine. And live connection we are going to use in the SQL Power BI reports. SQL Server Analysis Services and SQL Server Reporting Services and SQL Server Integration Services. These three are the free services. You don't need to pay for this. If you purchase SQL Server, these services are free. You don't need to purchase. These three tools called as MSBI. Microsoft BI tools. So who are working on MSBI, they are moved to the Power BI because it's an advanced version, right? MSBI advanced version. So whenever you are put the resume on the Power BI, they are definitely they comes a doubt on their mind. Maybe this guy knows SSAS, SSRS, SSIS, right? So nothing wrong, right? Nothing wrong. They are expecting in their expectation there is nothing wrong. Correct. Fine. Why? Because they are come from the MSBA program. They will think like that. So there is a chances maybe people are directly working on the power. That is also right. You are a fresher. You don't know your career was started in freshly. You got an opportunity in Power BI. That is the case. That is also there, right? So maybe they will ask in the interview. That's the reason why they are asking. If you have more experience, definitely they are going to ask these things. If you show more than 3 years, 4 years experience, then definitely they will think maybe this guy maybe know these things. That's the reason why they are going to ask you. But you don't worry. Power BI and SQL is the mandatory. Power BI is 90%, 80% to 90% Power BI, and 20% is the SQL. Okay, so this is one front end tool, this is one back end tool. SSIS is a ETL tool. We can say middleware or something. I'm not sure. Anant, we can. It's not middleware, right? Or we can say
It's not middleware.
Okay, okay, got it. ETL is different, right?
Yeah. In
Okay.
SSIS only ETL will come. Extraction,
Okay.
transformation, and loading.
Yeah. Three things we can load. Yeah. It is very different. Okay. ETL is different. Okay. Fine. Okay. So that's the reason why they are going to expecting these things. Okay. That's the reason I'm telling. Okay. Fine. In SSMS, SQL Server in the sense, in whenever you go to the company, it will be there only. SSMS installation will be there. After going there, you just connect here. After connecting here, you can able to see here the databases. So here, this database is called as a user-defined databases. User-defined databases is nothing but whatever we are going to create in the database. So this database and system databases. System databases, there are different types of system databases. Here temp databases is there. What is the temp database? Temporary tables will be there here. Temporary tables, temporary memory. In this database, we are going to store the temporary tables, right? So if we are going to create any temporary tables, something we can able to find here, temporary tables under. Okay. So these are the system defined databases and we are working with these databases. Okay. Adventure Works and Northwind databases, you have to download and install. Okay. So fine. So now select statement, right? So if you want to select something, so first of all, you just click here. After clicking here, you can able to find, you have to go to the database, which database you want to take, and go to the tables. Here, select the table. Okay. And here, first of all, click on new query. You have to click on that. So now it is in Adventure Dataworks. Now we open this database, we selected these tables. So now we can write the query, we can execute. So if it is in master database or something, then it is not going to execute the query. You will get the error. So we have to select from which database we are going to extracting. You just select the database. Okay. So or else select JB or something. Then you do one thing. I think there is a keyboard. We can use this also without changing here. See, I'm just selected marked, right? Without this, we can use. What is the database name? Adventure database. Select this database. Go. Just execute, select and execute. Command completed successfully. See this. Now it is so if you don't want to select, you can write this syntax. Use AdventureWorks DW 2019 and go. And instead of this, I'm just selecting explain. Instead of this, you can use anything JB database are there. You just select this and just click and go. So command completed successfully. Okay. So now see it is selected JB database. Okay. So fine. Now I want to go for the adventures only. Just click on anything. Either you can use the script and you can click on the execute. So if use or you can select anything. I'm just telling. So in many videos, if you go to the internet, they are going to show like this. So then you will get into confused, right? That's the reason I'm telling. Okay. So now I want to select some table first of all. For example, go to the product table. So what is the syntax here? You come to the syntax. First thing you have to come to the syntax. Or if you want to go to Northwind, that is also fine, because they are using Northwind only. These W3 people using Northwind database only. Okay, so they are giving one example. Select a star from customers. First thing you see, I want to select everything. Then we can select something. Select. We have to write the keyword from the capitals. Select. Star indicates everything. From select a star from table. What is the table name? Customers. Just click. Just select. Or directly click on execute. See. Or you can select and execute. Both are possible. Here you can able to see 91 rows are there. Okay. And this is Northwind database. This is our server and query executed successfully. You have to see these things. Now you know what kind of information is there. Now, for example, you want to select customer ID and only contact name, or only see anything you can take it, man. Country is there. Customer ID, contact name, country, anything you take it. So now you want to select only few things. Then you write select. Instead of star, you put the column names. That's it. What is the ID here? Customer ID. Comma. And the contact name. Comma. Showing red color. Invalid column name customer ID. What is the customer's table, right? Now see, now it is not showing because we have to mention, right? We have to complete the query. Customer ID, comma, country. Now, just select. Now execute. Series. Only customer ID and country is displaying. Okay. So only we are selecting these two columns. So we want to take off only one column. Execute. Only country. In this way, we are going to select the data from the database. From this database. Okay. So clear this one or any doubt or confusion? Okay. So fine then. Now We're going to discuss SQL select distinct, then we'll stop. SQL select distinct statement. See, the SQL select distinct statement is used to return only distinct values. This select distinct statement is used to return only different values. Distinct in the sense unique, not duplicated. Inside a table or column often containing many duplicate values, and sometimes you only want to list different distinct values. Okay, so what is the example here? Select country from the customers. This is the normal thing. Now let use the select distinct statement. Okay, select distinct country from the customers. Okay, so now come here. Close this. So you have to observe the result. So how many records here there? 91 rows are there. Here maybe duplicates also is there. Canada, Germany. No, if there is no, yeah, Germany is there. Here also Germany is there. Obviously, now come here. Now what you have to use? See, you can directly or copy paste. You can, if you want, you can directly copy paste, or you can just take a look and slowly type. Then only you can usually get the thing. Select distinct DIS TIN city, right? Select distinct country, right? Same thing you use. Customers table. So only distinct values it is going to select. See how many distinct rows? 21 rows are there. Now you select both those things. Execute. See here, how many are there here? This is the first one. This is the first one. Messages. 91 rows are affected and 21 rows are affected. Completion time. Here you can able to see message 91 rows and 21 rows. The first one, normal one, select entire data, and distinct in the sense only distinct columns we are going to take. So only unique values in that column we are going to identify. Okay, so now you understood, right? What is a select statement? Okay, tomorrow we are going to discuss about data, so database, how to create the database, and everything will take a look. Okay, so how many ways we can able to create the database, so how to retrieve data from there, and how to create the tables, many things we are going to discuss. Okay, so fine. So if you have any questions, ask me. So if anyone not still they did not install the SQL Server, please let me know. Okay.